Hey everybody, Joan Zodianz here, and welcome back to another episode of Spiritual Zundays. This week, we're going to talk more in depth about the remainder of this month and what it means for you. All right, so it's been a very intense month for a lot of people. The beginning of this year hasn't been the easiest transition, but a lot of things needed to happen to make drastic changes in people's lives. This year is all about trying to restructure everything in our lives. So, when we look at the planets right now, we see that not much has changed. Aquarius season is still in session. We have Mercury in Aquarius, Venus in Pisces, Mars in Sagittarius. Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto are in Capricorn still. Uranus is in Taurus, and Neptune is still in Pisces. We do not have any retrogrades right now in any of these main planets, but it doesn't mean that there isn't tension in the air right now, and for obvious reasons. There's a lot of things happening in the community, and a lot of things happening in our own personal lives right now. But think of everything as a wake up call. We are being called to redirect our energy, right? We are being called by the universe to really think about things and people that are more meaningful to us versus us just rushing into things we think are good for us. We have to dive deep within ourselves and not panic during this time. Okay, so please take the time to be around people that are important to you, or cut out people who are not important to you, because not everybody has your best interest in mind. And even though we aren't experiencing retrogrades in any of these main planets, we still feel like there's things that are causing us to make impulsive or bad decisions versus us trying to just calm down and attract the things that are meant for us. So you have to keep that in mind too. A lot of the reasons why we're feeling a lot of pressure from society too is because Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto are all in Capricorn right now, and Uranus is in Taurus. So, with all these heavy earth signs, we are feeling like we need to structure things and to build a stronger foundation for ourselves. But because Mars is in Sagittarius and Mars influencing our physical energy, we feel like we're rushing. There's a race to the finish line, when actually all of this really lasts for the remainder of the year. Not Mars, but Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. Okay, so we have this whole year to kind of get our lives together. So when you really think about that, we all really have time to figure things out. If you're starting to feel like you're getting frustrated with yourself or frustrated with other people, then take this time to just relax and to take a moment for yourself. We find ourselves giving a lot of energy to the community or energy to other people because Aquarius and Pisces are out right now. And because of that, you may find that your boundaries are weaker than they usually are versus you having stronger boundaries with yourself. So if you find yourself kind of straddling the fence there, the answer is to just think about yourself right now. Okay? Because nothing else will matter and nothing else will bring you more meaning in your life if you do not have yourself together first. Okay? So try to just calm down. I'm seeing a lot of fire out right now, literally and figuratively. So take the moment to really highlight the things in your life that need to be fixed or things that need to be addressed. I know there are a lot of people who are getting confused on whether they want something more meaningful in life or whether they want something more superficial. And I had talked briefly about that in my last podcast. Like, the difference between the two of them can be such a fine line, because people often talk about, if you're spiritual or if you're religious even, or if you're just a good person, you're not going to want or desire, superficial things, right? But when we're talking about superficial things, we're not always talking about things that make us comfortable. So don't get that confused with yourself. You can still dream big. You can still think about wanting the house, the car, living the life that you feel you deserve. Because in all reality, it's up to the individual and not up to another person. If you want these things in your life, you're going to have to make a plan for them and not give up on yourself. Okay? And because we have Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto all in Capricorn right now. This is a great year to kind of build yourself up to get there. Nothing is out of the realm of possibilities. You just have to have an idea and run with it. And because Mercury is in Aquarius right now, we are probably going to think of multiple ideas that we want to do. But because Mercury's in Aquarius, we may find it harder to commit to any of these ideas, especially because Venus is in Pisces and Mars is in Sagittarius, meaning that there are multiple mutable signs right now where they're all kind of a little commitment phobic or they're more indecisive about what they want to do. And don't worry, all of this will kind of go away next month, but for this the remainder of this month, there's still time to kind of readjust where you're headed or the direction that you're heading for the remainder of the year. Now, I'm not saying that you can't be around people or you can't, you have to completely isolate yourself, because that's not the point right now. It's really just finding meaningful connections with people or people that are going to benefit you internally versus externally, and trying to find the balance between the two. And that could be a little hard right now, especially because, air and water, which is Aquarius and Pisces, they're not exactly compatible when it comes to astrology, which is also creating that tension between want and need right now. So that's probably why you're feeling a little bit lost, or you feel a little bit stagnant, or you feel like something's just not, moving forward. And really, the universe is asking us to just take a step back and to deal with the things that we need to deal with, our little wake up calls. Okay. Like I had a little wake up call this month as well with my own health. And I realized, I've been putting too much energy out there and not reserving any energy for myself. I've just been thinking about, what can I do now? What can I do later? What can I do here? What can I do for that person, this person, these people, versus me just dialing it back and just focusing on what makes me a happy person. So you may be in the same place with yourself. And this is what I'm talking about when I say that we need to focus on that one thing that we're really good at, or the thing that makes us the most happiest, and really just build on top of that. You don't want to live your life, okay? You don't want to live your life doing what makes other people happy. You want to do what makes you happy. And if you're struggling with yourself, that's probably most likely what you're feeling right now, is that you feel like a robot or a zombie, or that you're in control of somebody else and what they want to do for you, what's best for them, for you. Make sense? Versus you just saying, okay, I don't care what these people say. I need to do what's best for me right now and stay away from being superficial. So when I talk about being superficial, I'm talking about what are you doing to appease other people? That's superficial. If you're, wanting all of these material things only to appease other people, that's being superficial. So if you're not doing things to appease your higher self, things that will please you, make you a better person, then those are things that are also considered superficial. So try not to get those things confused. Okay. We struggle a lot with getting the approval and acceptance of others, that we sometimes forget that all we need is the approval and acceptance of ourselves. And people struggle with that. You'd be surprised. People really struggle with acceptance of self. They just cannot stand themselves underneath everything. You'll even find people who have everything in life where it seems like that, but inside they're just not, they just don't love themselves. So, really, whatever is going on in your life, please take the time to look at it, not just positively, but realistically. Okay? You're probably seeing things backwards versus seeing things for what they actually are and what you actually need to do. Maybe you're just in your emotions or your feels right now where you feel like, it's the end of the world, but it's never really the end of the world until it's literally the end of the world. You know what I mean? Again, if you are going through something more traumatic, though, you may need to take the time to just, use time to heal, to think about yourself, to pull back, and to really get yourself to a better space with yourself, even if that's seeing somebody professionally, even seeing a therapist or even a spiritual guide or anybody that's going to help you be a better person. There are people right now, especially wanting to give help and giving compassion in the right way, in the right and healthy way. Okay. So always seek that first before you start talking to friends and family. That's what I always tell people. I'm not saying that just because I have my own clients and stuff like that. I'm just saying that literally because friends and family don't always give you the best advice because they're biased and they're not professionals. Like they're not, if they're not mental health or soul workers or light workers, then they're probably most likely not going to know what to say or what to do to get you to a better space with yourself. So, with that being said, I'm going to end this podcast and I will see you guys next week as usual. Well, mostly usual. I'm trying to be more consistent. Please give me that credit. I'm also putting out more videos on my YouTube as well because I just want to, I realize that it's really about my love for astrology, and this is why I do it. I don't do it for other people and I don't want to do it for other people. And that was also part of my wake up call too, is that I love this. I live for this. This is my profession. And I do want to help educate and enlighten and empower everybody. So hopefully I am achieving that. And if I'm not, then that's cool too. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.